going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm doing my 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoff predictions. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We got 10 drivers, of course, competing for the Craftsman Truck Series title. You have 9 drivers who are looking to win their first Truck Series championship ever. And then, of course, you have 1 driver who's looking to defend that title they had in 2024. Today, I'm going to go through all 10 drivers and tell you who will get through each round and who will compete for championship. And at the end of it, I'll tell you who I think will win the Craftsman Truck Series title. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Let's begin by talking about the round of 10. The first driver I have getting eliminated in the round of 10 is a driver 13 truck for ThorSport Racing, Jake Garcia. Look, I think Jake Garcia has been one of the most improved drivers in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series so far in 2025, and to be fair, he's had some solid runs so far this year. However, the ThorSport Racing organization this year compared to even last year, they have been struggling a lot in performance, and there's been times that this 13 truck has looked a little lost out there. And while I think he's going to have a decent chance at tracks like Bristol, he might be a solid pick at Darlington as well, I just don't have the same confidence in the 13 truck where I think Jake Garcia can go up against 8 that I think he's ahead of. I don't really think he's going to have a chance to compete for overall championship. I think he's got an outside shot at making the round of 8, but I just don't see it this year. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I think Jake Garcia will get eliminated in the round of 10 this year. The second and final driver that I have getting eliminated in the round of 10 is a driver to 71 truck for Spire Motorsports, Rajah Caruth. This is going to be a little bit of a hot take because Rajah Caruth, I think this year has had pretty much the same numbers he had in 2024. But very similar things I said about ThorSport Racing, I don't trust the Spire Motorsports equipment. I think Rajah's a lot better than where the equipment has been this year. He's had a lot more speed and has had a lot of decent results. And sure, he did get that win earlier in the National, which is going to help him a little bit. But I just don't trust the inconsistency of the 71 team at this point. I think his best shot is going to be at Darlington. He was really good there last year, was really good in 2023 as a rookie as well when he drove for GMS Racing. But I just don't trust the inconsistencies of that number 71 truck currently at the moment. Spire seems like they've been very up and down at this rate. I think because of that, Rajah will not get out there. I think he'll struggle a little bit this time around and not make it past the round of 10 and get eliminated in the round of 10 this year. So that is the round of 10. Let's now move on to the round of 8. There will be 4 drivers going home that will not compete for the championship 4. The first driver have been eliminated in the round of 8 is the driver of the 52 truck for Halmer Friesen Racing, Caden Honeycutt. It would be an incredible story to see this 52 truck compete for a championship, and it's great to see this truck in the playoffs this year. And I think Caden Honeycutt is a really solid driver, but Halmer Friesen Racing at times this year has not looked as strong. There's been times that this truck has been up front, and there has been times where this truck's been outside the top 10 in top 15 at points. I think Caden's best chance is going to be Martinsville. He was really good here in the spring before he had contact with Corey Heim. I think he could be a sleeper at other tracks on the schedule as well. I think he's going to have solid speed at a lot of races coming up, but I don't expect this truck to be up there compared to the other 4 that I think are going to be competing for a championship at the end of the day. I think Caden will not get it done. I think he's going to have a solid truck, but I think Caden will just miss the championship 4. I think he might be the weakest of the 4 upcoming, and I think Caden will not make the championship 4 this year in 2025. The second driver I have getting eliminated in the round of 8 is a driver of the 18 truck for McAnally Hogeman Racing, Tyler Ankrum. I think Tyler Ankram's actually been almost better in 2025 than he even was in 2024, and he had a lot of speed throughout all of 2024. But I think recently, outside of a couple decent runs, this 18 team has been a little bit inconsistent. They started this year off on a really, really strong note, but it seems like they've been a little more inconsistent at times throughout the second half of this year. And I think Ankrum is going to get through the first round. He's been really good at some of the tracks in the round of 10, but in the round of 8, I don't trust them. They were very, very bad at Martinsville last time we were there, especially in the fall race last year, and they've struggled with some of the other tracks on the calendar as well. I think he is a sleeper of these 4, though, that I could think can make it because Ankrum could be really, really sneaky, but I don't trust the inconsistency of the number 18 team, at least as of recently. I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. I think they're going to have decent speed, have a chance to make it to the championship 4, but I think they're just going to miss it. I think that Tyler Ankrum will go home and not make it to the championship 4 in 2025. The third driver I have getting eliminated in the round of 8 is a driver of the 9 truck for CR7 Motorsports Grant Enfinger. Going into this year, I would have thought Grant Enfinger was going to be a massive championship contender. And I think there's been times that this 9 truck has had some really, really good speed. Unfortunately, though, this year, they've been inconsistent like a lot of other drivers. And while Grant Enfinger, I think, has a shot, if we get to Martinsville, he could be a major factor. You never know. You don't have Homestead this time around. I think Homestead would have been absolutely really good chances. Grant was really good there in the spring. The tracks we have, though, in the round of 8, I'm a little worried about Martinsville. The short track program has not been as strong. And while I think Grant Enfinger is someone who has a lot of history running really well at all 3 of these tracks in the round of 8, he has Talladega, which I think is a really good opportunity. He's been really good at Talladega, won there a couple times. I think that actually is going to be his best chance to get to the championship 4, but I just don't see it this year for Grant Enfinger, unfortunately. I think he's just unfortunately going to miss out on making it to the championship 4. I think he's going to have a good truck at times, but I think he's just going to miss out on getting it done. I think Grant Enfinger will not make it past the round of 8 in 2025. And a fourth final driver that I have getting eliminated in the round of 8, who I do not believe will make it to the championship 4, is the driver of the 98 truck for ThorSport Racing, Ty Majeski. At the beginning of the year, very similar to Grant Enfinger, I would have said Ty Majeski would have been in the championship 4. And early in the year, to be fair, this team had a lot of speed. And they've had good speed at other tracks like IRP and Richmond. And I circled that race at Martinsville where he's really good in the spring. I don't think he makes it a championship 4 this year, though, and here is why. Inconsistencies of ThorSport Racing. The team has struggled this year at times. Now, granted, he has been the only driver that's been really good from the ThorSport Racing organization. Let's be real. He probably should have a win at this point with the speed and the pace he has shown this season. But I don't think he's got the equipment and the consistency to be up front to contend for. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be good enough. I think his best chance is going to be at Martinsville with how good he's been there as well. I don't trust him in the first race. I think the Charlotte Robal's there, and while he's been good at road courses, I just don't trust that at this point. So I think for Ty Majeski, he's just going to miss out of making the championship 4. I don't have him getting it there this year, unfortunately. I think Ty Majeski goes out in the round of 8 this year and does not make the championship 4. So, that is a round of 8. Let's now talk about the 4 drivers who will be competing for a championship in my predictions for this year. The first driver that is in the championship 4, according to my predictions, is the driver of the 11 truck for Tricon Garage, Corey Heim. Corey Heim is absolutely a no-brainer. He has been the dominant guy in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series so far with 6 or 7 wins this year. He has led over 1,000 laps, has had a ton of top 5s and a lot of top 10s. And what is crazy about Corey Heim's season is that he could have more than 7 wins this season. He could have double-digit wins at this rate. I think back to a lot of races early in the year. He was extremely good at Martinsville. Got taken out a couple times in that race. I go back to races like Homestead where he dominated that race. He had electrical issues that took him out. Pocono dominated that race. Had, unfortunately, a flat tire at the end of the event that cost him a shot at the victory. I think Corey Heim has been so good this year. He has a ton of playoff points, more than anybody else at this point. Plus, he won the regular season championship, which is an extra 15 playoff points on top of that as well. I think he's going to cruise to the championship 4. I worry about Talladega, but you've got the Roval, and I think he's the odds-on favorite to win the Roval at this point. And I think he's going to get more playoff points and win more races for the end of the year. So I think Corey Heim will easily get to the championship 4. I think the team has just been so good this season. They've been the best team by far by a mile this year. I think he will easily make it to the championship 4 in 2025. The second driver I have in the championship 4 is the driver to 34 truck for Farmer Motorsports, Lane Riggs. I think Lane Riggs has been the best of the rest this year. He's been really most of the year the only guy that's been consistently able to keep up with Corey Heim throughout the year. He's had 2 wins so far this year and 2 in the last 4 or 5 races on the schedule. He, of course, won at IRP a couple weeks back and picked up the win at Pocono as well. And let's be real, Lane Riggs probably could have more wins this season with how strong they've been. They had a really good truck in Kansas before they got disqualified. I also look at tracks like Martinsville where he's really good at in the spring, of course. He's also a pretty solid road course guy, too. And he's not a terrible super speedway racer either. So I think because of the playoff points that he does have going into the playoffs and finishing second, I believe, in the regular season, I think he's going to be able to get to the championship 4 this year. I really like what this organization is doing at this point right now. I think Lane Riggs will get out there and be able to make it to championship 4. I just like what I've been seeing from the front row camp this year. They've been the best team outside of Corey Heim this year. I think he will make the championship 4 and go to Phoenix this year. The third driver had making the championship 4 is a driver 38 truck for Front Row Motorsports, Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith has not been as consistently strong as his teammate Lane Riggs, but he's been very, very solid this year. He is one of only 3 drivers who has multiple wins in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series this year, at least on the Truck Series side that are full-time guys. And he's had 2 wins this year on shorter ovals. Really, really good at tracks like North Wilkesboro, won there earlier this year. And then, of course, he won at Bristol Motor Speedway. I think he's the odds-on favorite to win at Bristol when we get there in a couple weeks. And I think it could be a sleeper at a track like Darlington, where he's been really good at the past, and he's gotten better at the road courses as well. I worry a little bit about Talladega, but he was pretty good there with front row at Daytona before they got caught up in an incident near the end of the event. They were really strong, that dynamic duo was. I think Chandler will have the pace and speed to contend, and you never know once we get to the championship race. I think he will make the championship for this year in 2025. And the fourth final driver I have in the championship for is the driver of the 19 truck for McAnally Hilgeman Racing, Daniel Hemrick. This one was really tough for me between Daniel Hemrick and Ty Majeski, because I think both these guys have been very similar so far in 2025. But here's where I think Daniel Hemrick has a little bit of an advantage compared to Ty Majeski. Daniel Hemrick is driving for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. This is the same organization that had Christian Eckes behind the wheel. And yes, a lot of things changed with the number 19 going into this year, but he does have a win, unlike Ty Majeski this year. He's had a lot of good speed. He's been having some really good runs as of late as well. And I think there's some really good tracks coming up for Daniel Hemrick where I think it's going to really benefit him when we do get throughout the playoffs this year. So I think Hemrick will get to the championship for this year. I think he has a really good chance to do it. This team's brought some really good pace and speed. I like what I've seen from the 19 team. People were worried about Hemrick going there. I think he's done a really solid job. Corey LaJoie could have driven his truck, by the way. I think Dan Hemrick, though, will make the championship four in 2025. So that is the championship four. Who do I think is going to win the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship? Now, logic would say you pick Corey Heim, right? Corey Heim has won 7 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races this year, and he's probably going to win more. And he was really good at Richmond earlier this year. However, I think because of how it's worked out for Phoenix, and Phoenix not being the top track for the Tricon team, like the one track where this team has not been able to go out and win, I'm not picking Corey Heim to win the championship this year because of the one-race championship. If it was a full-season format, I would absolutely pick Corey Heim. That's a no-brainer. But I'm going with his biggest threat and biggest competitor all year. I am going to be picking Lane Riggs to win the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series title. In this race last year, when you look at the competitors, yes, Ty Majeski won, but Lane Riggs was really good at Phoenix last year. And Lane Riggs has been really good at the shorter, flatter ovals so far in 2025. And I think Lane Riggs has been the second best guy all year. Let's be real and honest. He's had a really good season. I think he's got a shot at winning more races for the end of the season. And he could go on a tear. He's been at times even recently better than Corey Heim at points. So I think this year it is going to be Lane Riggs will be your 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. I think it should go to Corey Heim for me because he's the most deserving. But I don't think it's going to be the most deserving guy, unfortunately, because of how the system works. I think Lane Riggs will be your 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. So, those are my 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoff predictions. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me to Facebook and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Let's go over that and comment your predictions below for the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. Who do you think is going to win the championship overall as well? Let me know it in the comments below. We may begin the schedule later today, but it could also be pushed back to Wednesday. We'll have to wait and see on this point. If any other major news breaks later today, we'll discuss it live on the channel. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about the Matt Crafton news that broke earlier today. We're going to talk about some of the other news that broke as well, like maybe Connor Zilisch being cleared to race, but it's not officially confirmed at this point. We also got some other news coming as well, maybe Dodge and Colligan, all that stuff, including Safari, Dodge, Ram, all that too. We got content coming up, people like Haley Deegan, Shane Gisborne, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Paul Walsh, Ross Chastain, Ryan Preece, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Tony Breidinger, Kaylee Bryson, Brad Keselowski, and Namick. Other things as well. We're going to have the picks for the Cup Series race on Thursday. We're going to have the Xfinity race picks on Wednesday for Daytona. And we'll also have Cup playoff predictions coming out on Tuesday next week. And we'll have an Xfinity silly season predictions dropping for 2026 as well this Sunday. Of course, depending on the weather. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.